All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the A7E podcast. This is your host, Jiggadrin. Guys, today we are on episode 33. I'm going to be honest, personally, at episode like 20, 22, kind of thought I was slowing down a little bit. And then before I knew it, I was on episode 33, guys. I'm so grateful for everybody that has tuned in to one of the episodes, whether you've listened, whether you've subscribed, everything that you've done. I appreciate it. Today we have a returning guest, guys. Okay, returning guest for part three.
Part three.
Part three. Part one, part two, all phenomenal. I don't expect anything less from part three. Nonetheless, just a casual conversation between me and Arnold, and just kind of seeing what updates he has for us since the last time he's been here. And yeah, man, thank you so much for coming back on.
Thank you for inviting me again. It's always a pleasure being here on your show. And congratulations, man. Now you're a 33rd episode, so it's growing.
Yeah,
It's growing.
yeah, man. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie. I had hit which is not a ton, but I had hit. I think it was 108 subscribers, and then I like checked last night or something. It was like 107. So somebody unsubscribed. Where it was, it's all right. I forgive you. Okay, just subscribe back. No, but yeah, I and today you brought some people with you. They're outside the camera. They're behind the camera. Mark being one of those people, and you said it was your brother, the other person, right?
Yes.
What's your brother's name? You told me. I just forgot it.
Alexander.
Alexander.
Alexander, yes.
Cool, man. So, guys, today we don't only just have a guest. We have some listeners. They took some time out of the day just to stop in. Just kind of listen on the podcast, and I think that's incredible. To be honest with you, that's something that I would like to do more. I know I was talking to Mark briefly before the podcast, and I was like, "Hey, I'd love to do a different setup here. Maybe we could even make some space, where friends of guests could come in and just have a listen and have a chat.
For sure.
So it could be a good setup. So yeah, man, what's going on? What's I don't remember exactly when it was the last time we did the podcast, but what's been going on with you? What's been different? I'm not gonna lie to you. I see you a lot on IG. You working out, man, and you look good.
Thanks.
Hey,
I appreciate it.
I want whoever's watching this. He looks good. Okay, you look good. I see you working hard. Honestly,
Thank you.
I can tell, and maybe I'm making this up, but I can tell you've been doing really good with the nutrition part too.
We've been working all aspects, not only in the business but myself as well. Trying to become a better person for myself, and obviously, if I become a better person, I'm able to influence others, to do the same. So yes, most definitely. I think our last podcast was around maybe February, somewhere.
February.
Yeah. So it was earlier this year. I know that we talked about a merchandise drop back on the last
We
episode,
did.
and some things didn't go as planned, but we continue working. It's like everything, a business has its ups and its downs, and it's great. A lot of things have changed since then. Our team has grown. Actually, Mark is one of our ambassadors.
Let's go, Mark.
We have a lot of plans with Mark. One of the ideas that surfaced was to help him on a weight loss journey
Okay.
and document his progress. That we were able to inspire and motivate others, that might feel that they need that extra motivation, because we know that a lot of people lack that confidence,
Of course.
or that extra motivation, and that's what we're trying to do to inspire others so they can know that GYMADIKTZ is not only about fit people. Like we've talked about before, GYMADIKTZ actually has a different concept than every other brand. We are here to help and motivate, those in need of that extra push. So I felt that Mark had that motivation in him. We just had to get him a little bit more so he can start on his own journey, and that's what we're doing with him. And it's been great. It's been great. We have 5 new ambassadors.
Okay.
We've been trying to grow the ambassador part so they can help us do the same with their own community. Obviously, every person that has joined our brand has their own little community, right? People that follow them on Instagram or the social
Right.
media, and they can inspire all these people. And we're still trying to grow our ambassadors program a little bit more. Obviously, the more the better.
Of course.
We do have some requirements that they have to follow and that they have to meet in order to bring them on board. But it's been great. It's been great. I have a new business partner. His name's Aaron. Aaron, if you're watching this, bro, thank you for everything that you've been doing. Actually, everybody in my team, they've been great. Uh, we did. I remember talking about a launch the last time, and like I said, things didn't turn out well. Some things that happened on my personal side, but now we have some new ideas that have surfaced, like Mark's idea. We actually closed a deal with Top Gym, I believe last week.
Okay.
So now our merchandise is inside the gym. So people that go to Top Gym, it's already there on display, and they don't have to go through the website.
They
And
can just grab it
exactly
right off the shelf.
yes. So we're looking for new other businesses to collaborate with, how we did with Top Gym.
Okay.
We're trying to look for closer gyms to home, like McAllen, Mission,
Of course.
maybe the Far area. Any protein shop that will want to collaborate with us. Anybody's looking at this, you guys can send me a DM, and we're glad to sit down and talk. So those are some of the new ideas that that have been surfacing and that we're working on. It hasn't been easy, but it's been very exciting when it happens.
Yeah.
And yes, bro.
That's awesome, man. I love to see the fact that, you're still working regardless if plans don't go accordingly, right? Or things don't go according to plan. I think, sometimes when we have this picture in our head and we have the mathematics set out for it, and then something happens where there's a monkey wrench thrown inside, everything goes wrong. You're kind of like, well, you know what? I was banking so heavy on the plan that I had. Is it even worth it creating a new plan? Because what if I create a new plan and that goes wrong, right? So it takes a certain type of mentality to understand that just because something didn't go right the first time, or just because you had something set out to go right and it didn't, doesn't mean that it won't in the future, right? You just got to keep pushing. One thing that I've learned, and I'm still learning, because sometimes I do struggle with it a lot better than what I used to be, but I've come to understand that not only is discipline important, right, of whatever you're doing, workout, business, whatever, waking up earlier, but consistency, like consistency through even obstacles, consistency through the tough times. To be consistent when things aren't going right is almost the most valuable thing you can do, because it's almost like I'm sure majority of the people have heard the analogy of when you hit an oak tree 1,000 times in the same spot, eventually it's going to fall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So regardless, I think it's awesome that that you kind of are still pushing forward. Now, before we go far off of this, this part of the conversation, do you want to talk about just briefly how it is that a business can reach out to you, or maybe someone that might be interested in being an ambassador for the GYMADIKTZ brand?
Yeah. Usually if they reach out to me, I kind of brief them on what do we expect, and then usually we arrange a meeting and we sit down. It doesn't have to be somewhere very private. We could just go to like a local coffee shop, and we give them further details of what we expect, and then if the athlete or the ambassador agrees, and we actually carry my iPad, so everything's already there, like my contracts and stuff.
There you go.
Basically, I just email them, or they can review it there. They sign. I just email them the copy, and it's a done deal. Same thing with the businesses. If they have something in mind they want to collaborate with, we go to their business, we talk about it, and we get everything done right there and then.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think making connections, especially in the local area, is phenomenal. Building a network, not only that, but just building relationships at the same time, quality, because sure, it can start as a partnership or as an ambassador, but if you have quality relationship, you never know what it could turn into, and I think that's kind of, again, just, I've said this on many podcasts, but this is what I love about my podcast. It's like having people here and just having conversations, and everybody that I've had a podcast episode with has, essentially become a friend, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever you need, bro. And I've been really lucky. Yeah, I guess it's just luck. I don't know, but to have guests that are just phenomenal people, man.
Yeah, I think in the business aspect, in order for it to flow a little bit more fluently, I guess you can say, it's all about connections. It's all about meeting new people. It's about being friendly, and being open to new options. Because a lot of people tend to close their options, and that's when they limit themselves. And one thing that has always worked for me is that I've always kept an open concept. I know what I want. I know what I expect from my business partners, or any business that wants to collaborate with us. And if for whatever reason we feel that we can't come to an agreement, then we don't do it. But I always open the door to anybody that wants to work
Awesome.
with me,
Hmm.
because if God is throwing you the chance to do a new collaboration, that's for a reason.
Hmm.
So I always try to hear everybody out, and if we can work something, perfect. And if we can't, we try to maybe work something down the road.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome, man. Cool, man. So, all right. So you had something set in stone. Essentially, last time you came on, you know, you mentioned some things didn't go, according to plan because of something personal. Cool. So what has changed since? What's on the radar now for Arnold, for GYMADIKTZ? Obviously you've talked about 5 new ambassadors. We got to set up here with Mark. Being able to document his weight loss journey, which
yes,
now that I'm thinking about it, is a phenomenal thing for both parties. Mark and GYMADIKTZ and yourself. I think that's going to be something that's going to, me, because I'm into fitness or I'm into health, I would love to watch that. I love watching transformations. Sometimes you see a video where it's just like a picture transformation,
yeah.
right? I love to watch documentaries. Not documentaries, but documented processes of someone getting to their goal. I think that's awesome.
And that was something that surfaced after Aaron came on board, my business partner, and we talked about many different ideas. Some I cannot mention right now because they're still in the process,
Hmm.
but there is another idea that we want to also not only do it with Mark, but we also want to bring in a female that would want to do the same, so we can
Awesome.
have not only Mark, but we can also have the female side
Female community.
that that can motivate her community, because I think it's very important. I think a lot of people or a lot of brands focus just on like fit people,
Yeah.
and that's all they show, just fit people, fit people, fit people, but then we're leaving everybody else out. And I feel that this opens a lot the doors to like a newer community, and they see that we're different than everybody else. It's not about merchandise, it's not about making money, but it's about making an impact in our community. How we talked before, we do have a very big idea that unfortunately I can't mention it to you guys yet, but if you follow me on Instagram, God willing, it should be solidified within the next week, within the next 2 weeks. And I feel that's also going to open more doors to us, because, like I said, we're not focusing on making money. We're not focusing on like how much pieces of merchandise we sold.
Right.
We're actually focusing on making people progress and reaching their goals. And once you do that,
Yes.
a lot of people see what you're doing, and they start, pushing you as well. So we're able to help out. In return, they're going to help us push our brand forward.
Agreed. Definitely. Just from what it sounds like, you're trying to provide as much free value as possible, essentially free, right? Of course, I just off the top of my own head, I don't assume that you do anything to put your own business under, right? I'm sure there's precautions you're taking, but I think what a lot of people don't understand, whether it be in business or just as a person in a relationship, the more value you provide someone or something without expecting any monetary return or anything in return, the more, and especially when you deliver on what you're, giving that person or that business, people are going to see that you're a quality person, that you're actually delivering on everything that you say, that you actually care. And what I'm starting to realize now, because in my job as well, is a lot of people not only pay for relationships, but um, they pay for people who care, right? So if
Yes.
you're a business who cares and you're putting the people first and you get them the results first, it's almost a no-brainer that they're gonna come back to GYMADIKTZ and be like, well, I know that this is the brand that cares. I've seen it done. They've shown me, and I'm now gonna support because I know they care.
And eventually, that's what people care the most for. Once they see that you, as a business owner, are out there interacting, you're out there working out with them, they support you even more, because we've talked about it before, how a lot of people tend to get to a certain popularity and they feel very exclusive. You know, they don't go out and interact with their followers and stuff. And it's something that has always been in me. We just threw a gym party at the Top Gym this past Thursday,
Mm.
and it went very well. I was out there talking to new people, working out with new people. A lot of people came up to me and congratulated me on how they saw how we were starting to grow up again. It's
Yeah.
like everything, you know, there's ups and downs in the business, and see a lot of things that have surfaced on my Instagram. People weren't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's exciting. Then, like I said, once they see that you care, how you mentioned, they start supporting you even more.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I essentially only discovered that on through my own trial and error. But I first came across that concept from, I mean, he's a very popular guy, Gary V. Right. So I mean, I came across him when he was like, it was like 2017, 2018, when he was like, before then I was like, okay, what can I give so people can pay me? That's what I used to think. What can I give so people can pay me? How can I make money? What can I do? What can I, whatever. Um, but then he was like, stop worrying about that. Like, stop worrying about trying to make money right off of the back. Worry about actually providing value. How can
Yes,
you give people knowledge? How can you give people results? How can you make a certain person feel a certain way? What can you do for them before they can do something for you?
exactly.
And then as I've gone through my life with that concept in the back of my head, I've been able to experience that. Like, so many things in my life have happened since then where I've stopped putting, the monetary value first, and then just, okay, let me know what I can do, whatever you need. Or if I just see somebody on a certain journey in their own life, and if I feel knowledgeable enough to share something with them that I think might help, uh, boom, here for free, whatever. And then never ask for anything in return. And maybe they don't give me any monetary value in return, but maybe in the future they give me some advice that I need or something like that. But, so I essentially stopped worrying about what can I get from somebody first before I can provide value to them.
Yeah, I mean, like I've mentioned before, in order for you to receive, you gotta give. Um, I've been always a big believer in that, and how you said you chase money, it's gonna run. So it's very important that you're able to provide some type of service or value without expecting anything in return. And down the road, people are gonna start supporting you. And if you're doing everything in good faith, God is always gonna return the favor for you 10 times even more.
Agree.
So that's something that has always been in my head, and I do everything with a good heart. And thank God it's been we've been very blessed that even though we've had our ups and downs, things always turn out a very positive outcome.
Cool, man. All right. So I know we're expecting, a certain process to be able to document for Mark, right? So, but how is it that you came in touch with Mark? How'd that go?
I came actually our new ambassadors resulted or came on board because of my business partner Aaron. They're uh they're real big at the Crunch in Edinburgh. That's where they work out.
Okay.
So most of the new people were already following him, and then he came on board with me. We sat down and we discussed how we can make the project bigger. He brought in some ideas, and then Mark surfaced. Mark has been providing us recently with very good media. He's your
Mm.
media guy, and in return, we're doing the whole transformation for him.
Right.
So it's been good. It's been real good. We have a few females that also came on board as ambassadors, and like I said, everybody provides. How can I put it? Something to our brand that makes it better.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, essentially sounds like you, I don't know every aspect of the business that could be done, but it sounds like you're pretty well rounded right now. I mean, the addition of the business partner you got seems like there's been some creativity that's been added to the project. And I think that's very good.
Yes, it's something that I've learned because sometimes as an owner, you want to do everything
That's
yourself.
correct.
You want to handle the social media. You want to handle the production of your gear. You want to set up meetings. You want to do everything at once, and it's impossible, man.
It's pretty much impossible.
It's
And honest,
impossible.
it almost has a negative effect. Not because you're doing something bad, but because you're not doing as good as you could be if you delegated those certain things.
Yes, and actually the ambassador, because we had stopped our ambassadors program for a little bit, we just had athletes. But now that we have the ambassadors and I'm able to have Mark around me, Aaron as my business partner, and like I said, everybody puts something in the table
Yep.
that has the team well rounded. Now it's easier for me to say, okay, I know that this person can handle this. I know this person can handle that. And it's a little bit easier for me to be able to focus on bigger stuff because I know that my team is well rounded. It also takes some pressure off my athletes because they have to prep, for their competitions. And now that we have the ambassadors can help us promote more, and the athletes can focus on their preparation to go and represent us when they go and compete.
That's a good point.
We do have two athletes that are going to compete on October the 22nd here in San Antonio, and they're looking phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're looking real good, and we're hoping to bring some hardware home, and that they can also do an impact on their community, on people that follow them. So it's that side of the business has been great.
Are we able to say who those athletes are at the moment?
Yes, it's gonna be Anissa and Jocelyn.
Okay, Anissa and Jocelyn.
Yeah, Jocelyn's gonna compete in bikini if I'm not mistaken, and Anissa's gonna compete in wellness.
Anissa and Jocelyn.
Anissa and Jocelyn.
When do they compete?
Yes. October the 22nd.
Hey, Anissa and Jocelyn, if you listen to this episode, good luck. I see Anissa, I think, from like other people's Instagram. Sometimes I'll tag her. I think the same with Jocelyn. Sometimes I see them in the gym at the McAllen one. But they're beast. I
Yes,
mean,
they are.
they're hard workers, honestly. No. Like, no, they're beasts, bro. So it's like, honestly, good luck to you girls. When you guys compete, kill it. I mean, it's no one really even has to tell them what to do because they've been doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like
they're pros at what they do.
yeah. So I'm not even here to be like, make sure you do this and do that. But just good luck. I think you guys are gonna crush it. It's awesome to know that you guys are part of the GYMADIKTZ brand, and I know that you guys are gonna do well. So hopefully they do bring some hardware back, man.
Yes, and even at that, we're already proud of them because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be an athlete, especially in the bodybuilding community. They do go through a lot of transformation. Their body and takes a lot of stress, and it's something that it's not easy to do.
No.
So I my hat goes off to every athlete out there, not only the athletes in my team, but anybody that does that kind of work.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had a few athletes and bodybuilders on the podcast, and some of the things that they share with me on the podcast and off is like, dude, it's like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I got certain goals for myself, right? I got just the goals that I have, and the training that I have and all that. And it's like, it's difficult still. So I can't imagine when you're competing and you're like, this is the thing that it's like you're trying to bring something home against other people who are trying to take it from you, right? Yeah. So it's like, that's awesome. Honestly, like Arnold said, hats off to everybody who, puts yourself through that, because you are putting yourself through that.
Yep.
Whatever that is, you're putting yourself through it, So cool, man. I think that's awesome. I think I think you're on the right path. I think you seem more energetic. You seem livelier. You seem excited. There's a little energy about you. I can see it.
It's like I said, all these new things that have come up. It's been very exciting, especially the new ideas that surfaced. I'm very excited about Mark's journey, my athletes competing. The new deal that we did with Top Gym. We left some T-shirts behind the day that we signed the deal, and within a few days they were already sold out. So all that, it's very exciting to see how the community supports you, how you're able to how you see your progress through the people that have been wearing your merchandise.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to see that your project, even though it has its ups and downs, it starts flowing again.
Yeah.
So yes, all that stuff, gives me a lot of energy and motivation to continue pushing forward, not only for myself, but to have a better team. Hopefully down the road, we're able to pick up more athletes and more ambassadors, and we're able to continue growing.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So we talked a little bit about, things that slightly have changed since the last episode, man. It's exciting, honestly. So let's talk a little bit about you as a business owner now, right? You're wearing the owner hat, right? How has that journey been for you? I know you briefly mentioned some things that kind of didn't go as planned. outside of the podcast, you mentioned to me that you kind of had certain moments where you're like, you know what, is my brand not gonna keep going? You know, that maybe you have certain moments of doubt.
Yeah, yeah, it's something that at some point it kind of like cost me some stress because like everything, you have your good days, you have your bad days, and on my personal side, I did go through some stuff, and I had to pause my brand for a little bit, and like I said, we did mention about releasing some new merchandise on our last podcast, and I mentioned about some stuff that we had in mind before, and things didn't go how I planned them. Even though I already had a plan on how to do them, life sometimes just throws you a curveball, and you got to put some things aside. And yes, I've had my rough moments where I've thought to myself like, is my project gonna continue going? Like, is this the end of it? But then I've learned that everything is temporary. Your bad moments are temporary, your good moments are temporary. So I've been trying to enjoy every single moment that life gives me, of excitement through my brand, through my journey. And I'm glad that you touched this topic, because that way I'm able to answer, the questions to everybody that's, watching the podcast. Because obviously on my social media I just post certain stuff.
Of
I'm
course.
not there posting every single little thing that I'm doing on a daily basis, or my private life. And maybe some people thought that I didn't care about my brand anymore, or maybe that we were done already. And it's not that, it's just that sometimes we as owners go through uh, certain moments in our lives that also puts you down like everybody else. We are human, we do hurt, we do feel. And yes, there's been some times where I've sat inside my car and said to myself like, okay, are we going to continue moving forward? Are my ideas going to work? Sometimes the ideas that you have in mind, even though you do everything as planned, they still don't work out.
Yeah,
But it's
that's a good
it's
point.
it's, it's something that I've learned too, that it's God's timing. It's not our timing, and He knows when it's right. So yes, we did have a rough starting of the year. We weren't able to release the merchandise, but now things have changed for a better outcome. And how I mentioned earlier, now we have Mark's journey. Now we have more people on our team. As a matter of fact, I just recorded a one-to-one interview that hasn't been released yet, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's gonna actually talk about how or why everything started, why the name, so people can have a better insight of why is it called Gym Addicts. Um, so yes, I do have, like I said, I do have my good moments. I have my bad moments, but thank God everything is flowing in the good direction now, and more ideas, how I mentioned earlier, have popped up, and everything seems to be flowing in the correct way now.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. This is completely off the top of my head. What would be the reason you stop gym addicts?
Like completely,
Yeah.
completely.
What would be the reason gym addicts no longer exist?
I don't think I would be able to. I don't
Yeah.
think so, because see, as an owner, or as the leader of my team, we've already grown so much, even though we're still a small brand, that we already have, contracts with other, businesses. And it would be real hard for me just to go and say, hey, you know what, we're not going to
That's a
do it
good point.
anymore. So I feel that keeps me committed to continue pushing. Not only that, but like everybody that's around me, that's depending on me as an owner, as a leader. I also feel that I'm also able to impact others that see, or that follow my Instagram, and see how I'm always trying to push forward as a positive person. And I don't try to let that negative things, hold me back. Yes, I do, like I said, I do have my good days, my bad days, but I try to focus more on the positive things. And if one thing didn't work, I'll go on to the next. And
Mm-hmm.
if that one doesn't work, I'll go on to the next. Something's got to give.
Mm-hmm.
And I think God has been putting the right people around me, and has been putting ideas in my mind to continue pushing forward. And if He's still giving me a reason why to continue going, then there's no reason why to stop.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's good. I was hoping you said that there's no reason why I would ever stop, because that's essentially it, right? When you're doing something and you know this is what you want to do, there really shouldn't be any reason why you stop. And if there is a reason that you've already thought about, then maybe you should consider stopping now, right?
Yeah.
Because eventually it's possible that the reason could come. Now, maybe the reason was maybe somebody buys you out $100 million. I don't know, right?
I mean, that's a different story. But even
Yeah.
at that, I'll probably think about it before,
Of
saying
course,
anything.
of course.
And yes, I can do say that your dream is always going to get tested, and God is always going to test you to see if this is what you really want. And those are the days where you have to say, I'm going to continue pushing. When you feel that you're stuck or that you're struggling, that's when you got to get up and say, I'm going to continue pushing. And ultimately, it's your consistency and your dedication that pushes you to that next level.
100%, man.
So yes, so like I said, even if there was something that could try to hold me back right now, I would continue pushing, because there's so much on the table right now that it just, I wish I could burn everything out that we have in mind.
Yeah.
But eventually, once it starts showing, they're gonna see, okay, this is why he was smiling so much in the podcast.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's gonna be great.
That's good. I think, just kind of talking about going through some weird times personally or difficult times. I recently experienced that myself, and it's so weird because I'm able to kind of be conscious of myself in almost a third person type of point of view as well sometimes in my life. And, there was a moment where, where are we at now? Was it October?
October.
Yeah. So like February, March, maybe like in the March time, February, March. Like I was just really active with everything that I had going on, right? March, April, yeah. Really active, and my creative ideas were just coming to me, and I was able to bring them to fruition and do them and this and that. And then all of a sudden, I would just get into this funk, right? Like this, it would go from 100 to 0, like my emotions type of thing. And I was just like, what is going on with me? I don't feel like doing anything. I truly, sometimes you're like, I want to do that, but I'm too lazy to. That's one thing. But I was like, I don't feel like doing anything. I didn't want to do IG videos. I didn't want to do podcasts. I didn't, and I was so strange. And I kept telling myself, I was like, why are you feeling like this? What's going on? What's going on? And I couldn't for the life of me. I would go to sleep at a good time, right? I would watch I didn't stop going to the gym. That's for sure. I thought the only thing that's making me feel good chemically and, physically was the gym. I need my endorphins. And maybe for 2.5 months, bro, I'm just I don't want to do anything. People were hitting me up for podcasts. I have friends in Austin. They're like, come over here, let's do a podcast. I was like, yeah. It took me a month to go over there when I could have gone within the first 5 days. And I was like, no, I don't know what's going on. And then I told myself from a third person point of view, it's like, dude, it's you got to stop, bro. You got to stop, because first, one or two things. You're not always, you're not the only person, dude, that's got stuff going on. Okay, whatever was going on with you, you're not the only person. Stop finding a reason to stop. Stop giving yourself the okay to be I don't feel like doing anything. You have to understand that whatever you started, if you care about it, you have to do your best to finish. And the way to gain momentum is to do things, right?
Yeah.
The only way you can actually ever run, right, is by taking steps, right? So if you need to do something, you need to put one foot in front of the other, whether that's a slow step, whether that's a running step, whatever it may be. And then I was like, okay, I don't feel like doing anything, but today I'm going to do what I know I'm supposed to do. And then when I started doing that, it just automatically all came back, right? It the energy, the creativity, the excitement, okay, now I'm going to reach out to this person. And honestly, that's why I messaged you, to be honest with you, because in a couple of days before that, I was taking the necessary steps. I was like, boom, I'm at it again. Let me message Arnold. Let me message this person. Let me start setting things up. And I feel good. And I feel better, right? So now what? Now I have no excuse that when I fall into a funk, now I know I have no excuse, because I found the solution before. So to let myself get back into a funk, it's almost no excuse, because now I know what the solution is.
Yeah, and it's happened to me before. It's happened to me to where You wake up in the morning and you're like,
Dude, just nothing.
you know, and yes, but once you go through it once or it happens to you again and you find a solution to it, it's easier to snap out of it.
Yes.
And I feel that a lot of people tend to get stuck there.
Yeah.
Once they fall into that hole,
That's tough.
and they see that everything kind of slows down, they feel that's the end of it, and they don't push to try to find the solution. They don't push to try to get out of that hole. And I feel that that's where we come in as, you know, as our brand. That's what we're trying to do. Make sure that if people fall into that hole, we're able to somehow push them.
Give them a reason to come out.
Exactly.
Even if for a day. Hey,
And
come out of that hole for a day.
And I think that's what, you know, makes people continue pushing.
Yeah.
So yeah, on one side, I feel that we're trying to provide as much support as we can to our community, and that's what separates us from everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I completely agree. And for anybody that is watching, because I do have a specific group of people that watches my podcast that I know has struggled immensely mentally and fallen into a funk, into a hole, right? And I understand that. Like, really, truly, the only way to gain momentum is by doing what you know is necessary, even when you don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, even if whatever it may be, and I don't hate it, but sometimes, you know, every time it's really easy to me to compare it to like going to the gym and necessary steps of going to the gym because you're going to feel better eventually. But that's the reality. Whether it be that you're in a financial problem and you see no way out, you know, the only way to do it is to find ways to make more money, to whatever. If you're in a bad shape and you're unhealthy and you know that the necessary steps are you got to go to the gym, we got to eat better. Once you do those things, you're gonna create momentum. And once you acknowledge and you're conscious that you have the momentum and you feel yourself getting excited because things are happening, the only way things can happen is if you make them happen. Really,
Exactly.
truly. Some people are in life blessed that some things happen for them out of nowhere. I've seen it happen, dude. Like people that from afar, we could think that, oh, you know, this person's a bad person and why do they get all the good stuff, whatever, and it falls into the lap. I've seen that happen. But 99% of the time, the only way things are going to happen in your life is if you make them happen.
Yeah, because you know, you gotta work for your things. And one thing that I've been a big believer of is that when you fall into those kind of situations, you know, whether you're having a financial instability or you're struggling with your health, or even if you have some type of goal, I feel that if God wakes you up every morning, it's because you still have a purpose. And regardless whether you sit in the bed all day or you actually go out and try to do something about your dream or that situation you're in, the day is still going to go by. So what would you prefer doing?
Yeah.
Staying in bed, just thinking about it, or actually going out there and making something about it? And that is what motivates me every morning. So yes, when I fell into that little struggle earlier in the year, I would still wake up every morning and be like, okay, if God woke me up today, it's because he wants for me to continue pushing. And regardless whatever was going on in my life at that moment, I would try to put it aside and continue going out there and continue pushing, continue motivating myself, continue trying to motivate others. And thank God everything passed by, and now we're at a better stage.
Yeah, I know that there's you know, a saying that goes, for example, let's say everybody in this room or whoever's listening, you got 40 years left. Let's call it 50, just half of 100. You got 50 years left. Those 50 years are going to go by regardless, whether you want it to or not, whether you have something planned or not. Now, in those 50 years, you have two options, and truly, it's only two options. You have, there's going to be a 100% chance that in those 50 years, there's going to be pain, right? There's a 100% chance. One of those pains is the pain of dedication, because sometimes it hurts to be dedicated, because that's again, kind of goes back to what we were talking about, doing the things that you're supposed to do when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And then, or you can have the pain of regret. At the end of those 50 years, you can feel one of those two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And honestly, one of my fears and almost phobias, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, is like getting to the end of my life and being like, damn, I really didn't even try. It's like, damn, I'm whatever, 90 now, or 80, and I didn't even try anything that I wanted to try. And that's scary. To me, that's really scary.
That actually is, because I would much rather know that I tried and I failed, that I failed by not trying.
No, dude, like yes, I agree, and I would rather fail. And you have no idea. Like I have in future podcasts, like I say it, I have failed. I'm talking about tremendously. I have failed in ways that would put people into states of depression for years. And I'm telling you, I've always been a positive person in my life. Like the energy that I get for people ever since I was little, positivity. You can ask anybody I grew up with, and to this day. I went through in 2020 when I was in Austin. I went through a series of failures financially, and I got to a point where the first time in my life I thought I was gonna lose it. Like I was 100,000, 10% convinced that this is the rock bottom for me. Everything went wrong. I was at a point where like a brink was like I couldn't control my nerves. I remember being on the phone with somebody and explaining to them what just happened. And when I was I was shaking the whole time. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. Like I'm truly screwed. Like this is the rock bottom. And I was on the phone like I'm shaking. I've never done that. I was like, damn, like this is a result of me trying to do things that I wanted to do. And I thought to myself, okay, well, it's a result of you trying, right? Now you've come across a different obstacle. Now you've come across this emotion that you're feeling. How are you going to get out of this one? And it took me, honestly, dude, like, and for the next 7 days after that, I wasn't going to sleep till like 2 a.m. Like I would be in bed tossing and turning for like 3 hours. I would wake up, get dressed, go outside and walk. Because I just couldn't go to sleep. For 7 days, I couldn't sleep. Maybe I slept for 7 days. I don't know, man. Like maybe like 15 hours. Because I would at 4 a.m. I'd be outside walking, like looking for an answer. I was like, what am I doing? What I'm trying to say is things can get as bad as they can get. But I promise you, I promise. I'm one of the most overthinkers that you'll ever meet. I'll think about everything. And when something goes wrong, I think about every reason why it went wrong. But I promise you that if you put one foot in front of the other, you'll end up finding a way out. As long as you can breathe, as long as you're healthy, whatever. Truly, like it's almost a cliche, oh, at least you have your health. But the reality is, as long as you have your health, you have an opportunity to find a solution, man.
Like I said right now, I think if God gives you a new day, it's always a new beginning. So yeah, that's why every day that I wake up, everything that happened yesterday, I leave it behind, and just continue focus on what's to come. So yeah, I've been there. I've been there where you feel like there's no way out. You turn to one side and there's a problem. You turn to the other side, there's a problem, and you can't go back. But the only thing you can do is continue pushing forward. So yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
It's tough, but there's always a solution to everything.
100%, man. And we're doing better now. Everybody's doing better now. We're here to win. I'm having a better mentality. Everybody is. I can feel you are. And I think that's essentially it. Every chance. I mean, every time you wake up, you have a choice.
Yep.
Either you're gonna think you're gonna win today, or you think you're not gonna win today. And either way, it's like if you have a choice to either be happy or sad during the day, it's like might as well choose happy, because if you choose sad, then you already lost.
Exactly.
So it's like do your best to be positive, man. Take every problem that you have head on, and just take it. Just take it. Sometimes you gotta take them on the chin, man. Like truly, there's problems in your life where you're gonna lose, and you gotta be like, damn, I lost, and just take it on the chin, and then move on to the next one.
Exactly.
It's false. It's false if you look at other people's lives through social media or wherever, and it just seems like they're winning. I think that's about as false as it can get.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people struggle with that because, like I said, going back to the topic where they probably only see what we always share in our social media, and most of the time is the wins.
Yeah.
It's hard for somebody to see them that they're posting that they lost today, and yeah, a lot of people think that because you're always posting your good things that you're always having it good for yourself, but no, it doesn't happen that way. Like I said earlier, as an owner, you go through bad stuff as well, and obviously we're human. You know, we all have our good days, we all have our bad days.
Agreed, Arnold. Now, to my knowledge, is there anything else that you wanted to share with the people that are listening? For everybody that's listening, I did want to kind of tailor the length of my videos to 45 minutes to an hour. If it goes over, no problem. If it goes under, no problem at all. But that's kind of what I'm trying to structure it around. Now, is there anything that I missed? Was there something else that you wanted to say?
I think we basically covered everything that's changed from the last time till now. I am very excited about everything that we have planned. We have changed some of the things that we do in our company. We're trying to we haven't closed the door on doing like local pop-up events, but we are trying to target more the gyms where we're able to collaborate how we did with Top Gym. We're also trying to push to start moving up north to doing bigger expos to try to collaborate with more gyms. Uh, the whole mindset that we have is to make sure that we're able to put Gymatics on the map.
Yeah.
That we actually grow as a brand, that we grow as a community, and that we're not only able to impact the people within our area, that we're able to impact people that are further up north, maybe even out of state. And we are trying to, like I said, we are trying to push for this project to grow. So yes, like I said, I'm very excited about everything. I'm excited about the people that we have on our team, our designing team. We're still working with All Stars, with All Star Nutrition, with Alpha Supplements. We're still working with Last One Fitness Center, and then like I said, it's been a great journey. It hasn't been easy, but I've been enjoying every single process of it, the good side and the bad side as well.
Yeah. And that's on before we wrap it up, officially, that's one of the beauties of social media. It's a double-edged sword, man. Social media is a double-edged sword, 100%. The positive side is that you can reach more people a lot faster with a positive message to make a positive impact. That is the beautiful side of social media. You can reach thousands of people within a certain amount of time, a lot faster than you could by walking to 1,000 doors.
Actually, I want to congratulate Mark because we spoke to him about how his journey can impact others, and he does a lot of great media work. If anybody needs somebody for photography and stuff, he's a great guy. Uh, but we're going back to the topic. He created a reel where he's starting to document some of his training, and some people might not be much, but he actually hit about 30,000 views, which is it's exciting because you see all the people that start commenting on his video where they motivate him more, where people are actually being motivated by him. As a matter of fact, he even got reached out by somebody in Philadelphia that was motivated by Mark. And it's like, okay, we haven't actually started documenting everything, but it's already having a good turnout. Look at that, and that's beautiful, man.
That's awesome, man. And that's exactly why I say social media is a good, a beautiful. It can be beautiful, and I think that's awesome. That is something to congratulate some because you have a message you're trying to spread, and you reach 30,000, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. Not everybody's doing it. And I think moving forward, I think it's going to be a phenomenal journey for Mark, and I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited. Obviously, I just started following Mark. I think like whenever you posted it recently, like a week ago, maybe. I don't know. Do you have multiple pages or do you have one?
I have one for photography.
Yeah.
And I have one for usually my street photography.
Okay.
And then I have my main one, which is music and
okay. I'm following one of them. I'm just not sure. It might be your main one.
Yeah,
if it's okay, all right. I'll follow that one as well. Yeah, guys. Cool. I think that's it, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you again for having us out here today, for giving us an opportunity to share, what's been going on with us, what's been going on with me as an owner. I want to thank everybody that's in my team. Like I said, our designing team, the businesses that have been, opening their doors to us. We've been really grateful with that. And like I said earlier, anybody is down to collaborate with us. Feel free to send us a message, and I'm always open to new opinions.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And of course, you're more than welcome at any time, man. Even if we do part 10,000, you come back as many times as you need. It's always a pleasure having you on and having a conversation. So,
Thank you.
Anyone's welcome, man. I love talking to as many people as possible. This is what the podcast is about. So, yeah, guys, that's it for this episode 33. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Please, if you've enjoyed the episode, at any point, please consider following or subscribing to the channel. You have no idea how much I am grateful for that to everybody who shows support. It's just a press of button to subscribe. I'm not asking for anything else. If anybody wants to come onto the episode or into the podcast, please reach out. Okay, I'd love to have a conversation and go from there. Guys, thank you all so much for listening to episode 33 of the A7E podcast. This is your host, Jiggadrin. Until next time.